came out with the best friend you'll ever have in your life. And the camaraderie underground, it's just like Solis Pell, the songs that are about it. You'd give your life up for your partner before you let him get killed if you could. I mean, that. And they were as important to you as your family back then when we were all working and we were, you had partners, you'd do anything in the world for them, and they'd do anything for you.
You almost had a close call every day, it seems like.
When I worked underground, I did have some close calls. I had a lot of close calls. I don't know whether maybe it's a superstition, maybe I was bad luck just to myself, but bad luck, good luck, I don't know.
I can think of a lot of them back in the early days of accepting things because the whole group is accepting a Jeep without brakes that we're out doing geophysics out in the forest, and we're riding around in a Jeep that doesn't have brakes, and we're riding down a hill with switchbacks.
I know when a man named Sam Bland, he was working at the mill, and he went to use a rag to grease a conveyor belt, and they grabbed his arm, and they pulled his arm out, and he survived, but he only had one arm after that, one hand and one arm. They took it off, yeah, it ripped it off, yeah.
I had 1 foot off, 1 foot on, and the timber crashed to the bottom, and it saved my life because I chose to get off that timber and go to get my gloves. Because the timber, the coffin skip, everything fell like 200 feet, and I would have been on that timber.
We had one fatality while I was working there, and it was just an oversight, I would say, on the part of the miner who was killed. He just, I guess he was in a hurry or something.
I think it helped me lead to just paying more attention always through my career of I guess I'd say it's more than thinking about the rules and exactly how we follow all the rules, was understanding what the rules were trying to protect us from in a given situation. And then applying our own common sense and awareness to make it work was the key.
There are superstitions about females underground. A lot of people thought that they would bring bad luck or cause a mining disaster. And, if there was a chance that some terrible thing happened that day, it was because a female was underground. No one ever confronted me about anything like that. But I know that there were some people who were very suspicious or, just a little standoffish because they did hold those superstitions to be true.
I like to say that I never let them see me cry. I mean, I just had to, you get tested. If you're not in your own element or your familiar element, they do test you. It was interesting, but I breezed through it okay.
Well, I have to tell you, the thing that probably protected me the most was my naivete. I was very naive. But in hindsight, I'm going, oh my God, I can't believe it. We had a doghouse for the geologists and engineers on the F level. And one of the geologists posted nude pictures of women all over the doghouse, which, I just thought, I'm the only woman here. I just have to pretend like I don't see it. And I think it was really awful that he did that. But there was this one surveyor, he was also really offended by it. And, I think he was ahead of his time. He had the courage to rip them all down and destroy them and, call the guy out on it. There was this hoistman that just hated the fact that there was a female underground. So in the morning when you would go in on the man train to go underground, it was really courteous for everyone to turn off their headlamp, and we'd have a 10-minute ride where we'd all just kind of rest to get ready for the day ahead and, just chill out for that ride, and then everybody would get off and go to their levels. For the whole ride, he would sit somewhere where he could shine his light directly in my face. I mean, and he was just, I'll go ahead and say it. I think he was an awful human being. Yeah, I there was other things, but that's what I really remember the most.
High grading is the borrowing or stealing of high-grade gold ore, and it was pretty common. Sunnyside had some really, really good gold ore, and especially in the working areas where these guys were working up in a stope and there was visible gold, that ore would probably get pocketed.
If you found a good piece of ore or whatever, they didn't care if you took it outside or whatever, and that'd be, I mean, if you happen to be lucky enough to be in a stope that had good gold in it or something, you could cob it down, break it down, and just have a smaller piece.
There's quite a business around high grading. A lot of schemes, where dynamite boxes are filled to be taken down, a skip, hoist operator get a little piece, be taken outside, thrown over the side. The loader operator and the trammers might get a little piece of that. I know if people got caught sometimes high grading, a shift boss or foreman would say, "Give me your best piece," and put it in their pocket.
When I first started up there, nobody cared if you took a little because there wasn't enough being taken out to hurt their profits or whatever.
High grading was very common at mines from time immemorial. Folks just considered it to be part of their pay.
I remember them telling me that Bobby Gallegos was up in the stope, and in your side, you're over there all by yourself. And, a lot of people are superstitious, and he was drilling away and singing to himself. And I think D. Harmill turned off his light and snuck over to him and grabbed him by the leg, and he started shaking and stuff and let go of the drill. About passed out, but I mean, there's a lot of people that were really spooky underground, spooked underground. And
a mine is a great place to scare people, and some guys were more scarable than others. A lot of goosing. People come up behind and goose somebody, and somebody might turn around like this. Some guys would just go to the ceiling. There was always 2 or 3 guys that were really, for lack of a better word, really buoy. So they're always getting goosed. I remember a guy I worked with at the Pride Osceola, his name was Sarge, and I turned my light off, and went up about 30 feet of ladders without my light on, and Sarge was up there slushing, and I snuck up behind him and just put my hand over his light, and he did a dance like you can't believe. And it was always fun for me to try to scare people in the mine. I just went out of my way to do that.
I remember certain guys couldn't stand smell of tuna, so somebody'd stick a tuna can under their nose in the man trip going in and things like that. But you hear stories. There's some where you scare them. Somebody put on a gorilla mask and turn off their light, turn off the lights and come up to somebody, and then the lights hit them and
jump out of their boots.
Yeah, they jump out of their boots. I think he was drilling, so he probably took a swing at him with a starter steel. So, there was always things like that.
So there was lots of horse. There was just a lot of pranks, a lot of horseplay. That was a lot of fun. A lot of great camaraderie. Those are the guys that after work you would run down to the bar, get a couple beers.
Everybody had a good time, I think when they worked, they all went up there to work. And you come downtown and there was always differences. And there was sometimes you got in fight with your co-worker, go to blows, and next day you go to work a little scuffed up and work side by side and just continue to do it. And that was just kind of part of the process. And
I really valued working with the people overall. Like, I never was a miner, ever. I did a lot of different jobs, labor jobs, everything else. but I never was a miner. But I valued working with the people. They were a good group of people, and that's probably why I stayed here so long. Is just working with the community and the people, and that's basically why I stayed so long, and just the community and the people itself is what I value.
That camaraderie and friends that you made really made it worth it for sure. There's just a lot of good things that happened.